So a lot of people wonder if the narcissist actually does this on purpose. And here's what I'm going to say. Here are my 2 cents. And I think that there are levels of narcissism, and I think we're all on a spectrum somewhere. We have to fall, because we all have narcissistic tendencies, because it just falls in the category of self love. And you can have a healthy amount of self love, which you need. You have to have that. And then you can have an unhealthy amount of self love. And the only time that narcissism really is something that I think people purposefully do is when it's paired with psychopathy, or sociopathy. I think that those are the 2 times that you're going to see that narcissism is going to be something that they're purposefully doing. Because in order for that to happen, they'd have to have an idea of the other. And the problem with narcissism is that it's somebody who's very egocentric. And egocentrism means just that they only see their own point of view and they feel like everyone feels the same as they do. And it's something that you develop as a child and you eventually grow out of. According to Piaget, it's like around 6-ish, after your brain has kind of gone through that spongy period where it soaks all the information in. You start to learn to, the mind mentality. So you'll see it in children that they'll start sharing with each other. Before that, it's play. They play together, but it's like mirrored play instead of them playing actually together. And so you start seeing the ego starting to separate and understanding that you are different from the person across from you. The problem in narcissism is that never really fully happened. They never overcame that selfishness where they only thought that everyone felt like they did. And they only felt like, sorry, my dog is struggling right now. You okay? She has allergies. It's fun. Anyway, so the narcissist would actually have to have this idea of you being somebody separate from them in order for them to understand that they were doing this to you purposefully. Now, I think on some level there is a consciousness of that, but I think they tend to you're always below whatever ego they've got going on. Their ego is so high. It's the protection mechanism. It's like on a very high scale. They're protecting themselves so much that they don't even see you. And so it's kind of like they have these common traits because we all, like as humans, we kind of have common things, common behaviors, because we know that they work. And so they have these common manipulative behaviors. And it's how we classify different things. As we, group them into certain behaviors. So I think, yes, on some level they may have consciousness that they're doing it. And this doesn't mean that they aren't at fault. It just means that they are not sitting there maliciously planning things against you, if they're in a close relationship with you and this is happening. It's something that they don't even, and they're not going to look inside to control it. They're not going to control it because there's no love inside them for themselves, really. If you want to get down to the heart of the matter, it's like a lack of self-love by an overinflated ego that reflects that they love themselves so much that they can hardly handle it. Hence, the narcissist. And so you have that happening. But they aren't sitting there like actively planning to do this to you like every day, because that would take way too much of their mental capacity to even be thoughtful of you. If they could do that, they might actually treat you appropriately. They just have knee-jerk reactions that they operate out of. It's kind of like operating out of like a base brain activity because it's easier that way. Because if they turn their brain on too much, then they'd have to face all of the things that they're hiding from the world. And that's hard. That's hard for people. So are narcissists really evil? And they're not kind, but I think it's that egocentric behavior that they've never let go of. And so what can you do? You can hope and pray that they overcome it, but the chances of that happening are pretty slim to none because most of these people see nothing wrong with their behavior. They have, because they won't look inside enough to acknowledge that might be problematic and that they're the cause of your problems, because they honestly think that you're the cause of your problems. you're over dramatic. You're overreacting. That's what's going on in their brain, because there is no sense of like identity there. They only have like, and they'll reflect as well. You'll see a lot of mirroring because of that, because they'll reflect back at you the appropriate thing that they're supposed to say. So do I think that they're evil inherently? No. I think if you add in psychopathy or sociopathy with the narcissism, yeah, you're going to get that. And I think I've dealt with a couple that were like that, or one I know at least, because I think she actively planned for things like that to happen. And it wasn't kind. But I think that we all are on that spectrum. It's just a matter of, have we let go of that egocentric thought yet? That I am the center of my world and everyone revolves around me. It's a big one to overcome, because not everybody revolves around you. And this is the thing that I see in teenagers. It's the whole idea that everybody is watching me right now, and they all see what I'm doing all the time right now. And if I do anything wrong, everybody will judge me. They all have eyes on me. And that's also an egocentric thought pattern that you have to eventually phase out, because not everybody's watching you. Chances are there's like one or two people, but they're too busy watching themselves. And so I see this a lot in my high school kids when I'm looking at the way that they talk and their development that they're going through. And it's really interesting to see them kind of grow out of that and start to branch off and become, and from like freshman year to senior year, you're going to see a huge change. It's like those freshmen, they come in and they got to be cool for everybody. And then sophomores, it gets a little bit less so you start seeing that egocentric behavior kind of going away. So it's interesting to watch. But anyway, so do I think that they're evil? No. I just think that they're very, very broken human beings, and hurt people hurt people. And do I blame them for that? The only thing I blame them for is not healing the behavior. And I feel bad that I chose to stay in those situations instead of taking care of me, because I had a choice and I knew that it probably wouldn't change. But you romanticize things, or you're hopeful that things will change. And every time it happens, you're like, well, maybe this time they'll learn. And then it happens again and again and again. And so can narcissists be healed? Hard, very hard, because you'd have to have them acknowledge that there's something going on inside. They'd have to look inside at that hurt, wounded being inside. And it's like, Harry Potter at the end when Voldemort has his little ming at the train station. Yes, I'm nerdy, okay? But that's how I picture the inside of somebody who has narcissism is like, the little shriveled up Voldemort that's still alive inside of them. And so that's kind of how I see it. And it's very, very much still stuck in 4 or 5-year-old mentality of I am the center of the universe. But if that helps, maybe that won't make people so mad. I mean, it's frustrating running into them. And if you're an empath like me, I'm going to tell you they're attracted to you. If you're a healer, they're attracted to you, because there's something about you that makes them want to like attach themselves to you, because you would completely get them and love them. But anyway, don't accept anybody until they're at least on your level. Okay, sending love to you guys. I hope you have a good evening, and I will talk to you later. Bye.